Welcome to the Homegrown Hunter TV. I'm your host, Steve Elmy, and on today's show, I'm headed into the backwoods of Northern Ontario with good friend Tom Wallace of Campbellford Chrysler. He's got good friends and family with him. I've been invited to their moose camp for the first time, and we're going to go through the steps of how they ensure me I'm going to have a fantastic time while hunting with them. Might even get in some partridge hunting while I'm here. We'll see. We're going to take you into the camp with us and show you our experiences.
Welcome to another great season of the Homegrown Hunter.
Watch your
Sure. Good girl.
Homegrown Hunter TV is brought to you by Rack Stacker, Canada's leader in big game attractants. Campbellford Chrysler, a small town dealer with a huge inventory. Hook-a-Bones Equipment, Ottawa Valley's Kubota dealer. Bishop Lake Outdoors, First Place Trailers, L10 Outdoor Solutions, Badlands Packs and Apparel, the original portable winch, Nature of Design Signs and Graphics, and these other fine sponsors.
Okay, there's your pipe. Stick that in the hole. Being my first experience as an off-grid moose camp, I was a little out of place. I've never done this sort of thing before and was excited to see what laid ahead. Tom Wallace's family has been doing this camp for over 30 years, and they assured me that it'll be a home away from home. With individual panels that collapsed for easy storage, it went together pretty quick, and with the guys knowing exactly what to do next. After it was assembled, they had a heavy cover that go on top to keep the rain and snow out, as well as keeping the wind at bay when it was secured down. After the camp was built, we pieced together the carport, which ultimately was going to become our dining tent, to house all the coolers, the cookware, and of course, our beverages. Most of us were working to get the camp completely built, while Glenn and Keith had gone out to collect some firewood for the evening. They were calling for some cool weather and some potential snow on the horizon. That could lead to some really good moose hunting in the morning, so we've got to get this done, get settled in, so we can have a good night rest preparing for the moose hunt. She's opening moose hunt here in Northern Ontario. I'm with Tom Wallace and his gang up north of Cochrane. A huge cut. They cut this last year, so there's lots of low food. I'm actually backed right up against a river bottom to my left, so it's in behind me here. This is all the river bottom. So I've been calling down into the river bottom with a Fox Pro game call in the hopes that I can pull a bull out. Jimmy at the camp's got a bull this year. We all put in on it, and Jimmy pulled the tag. Jimmy's about a mile down the river behind me here, and the other guys are on the other side of the river at a different cut. So here's to hoping. See if I can shoot my first Ontario bull with a rifle. So I seen two guys further down from a different camp. There's a lot of hunters here on this road, but we're hoping that they get them moving around a little bit and see if we get an opportunity at a bull. Kind of miserable right now, wet. You can't really tell, but it's foggy and cold and wet. It was -2 this morning when we got up, so she was frosty. So hopefully that'll keep the bulls walking around and looking for girlfriends. We'll see.
Closed captioning has been brought to you by the original portable winch. Compact, lightweight, and can be carried anywhere.
So I'm back at the truck now. Jimmy and I this morning, before we went out, we agreed that we meet back here around 10 o'clock. He's actually further north up the river and I was down south, and they've just recently clear cut this location, so it's a sought after area for moose. Right now in this location we don't have any type of mineral sources out, but we're going to do that later on today. There's a camp that's actually quite a bit further south and a couple of other smaller lakes, so we didn't want to impede on them. But I want to show you here quickly kind of the map that we've got. Now I have no service here, but my iPhone apps program allows me to see the topography, and you can see just north of the truck where last year, or I guess 2 years ago, where they cleared it out, and it's got, you know, 3-4 foot undergrowth, which is fantastic food for moose. Of course, there's a river that runs north and south that there's lots of food there as well. Excuse me. And then all the way down to this lake here is all clear cut from last year. That's all this new stuff that we're in right now that we're hunting. So the idea here is to try and get the moose, using calling and getting them out of the bedding areas, out into the food sources, or at least catching them while they're traveling. So that's the game plan right now. I'm going to wait for Jimmy to get back. It's a nasty morning. Very wet, very cold, heavy winds. But beautiful sit either way. Opening day here in Northern Ontario.
Once again, by the fickle finger of fate, it is amazing. These birds have a very small brain, and they can elude somebody that has the capabilities of, like, Steve. If for any reason you miss, I'm going to give you a elastic. Try that. And,
okay.
Yeah, shoot him with a sling. Yeah.
There was two of them. They didn't jump very far.
Well, maybe you need another shell.
Psychotilium had any effect on your judgment of him? Yeah. No. Okay. No.
I don't remember. I remember some kind of band.
I just walked this whole cut this morning to see if there's any fresh tracks from last night. I wasn't able to find anything. I did some calling along this ridge. I'm going to work my way back to the truck, but you can see all this lower growing shrubbery, deciduous growth. That's what they're going to be feeding on, and there's a big river bottom that goes across this ridge here on the other side. And I tried to call them out of there. However, I want to show you something that I disagree with the forestry business. They've replanted pretty well from here halfway to the truck. I've parked up on a hillside here where the forestry or Ontario or somebody's come in here and sprayed the deciduous trees, which is what the big game animals are feeding on, especially moose. You can see here they've planted these rows in the evergreens, black spruce and whatnot, but these birch right beside me, they're dead. They've come through here and sprayed it all, which is good and bad in some cases. For the forestry division, it's good because they can come in here and effectively harvest a bunch of spruce trees for timber management and all that sort of stuff, but the deciduous trees are what's feeding the wildlife, so it makes it a challenge to, you know, I'm sure sustain any type of wild game here in Northern Ontario. I disagree with it, but from a management perspective, it lessens the competition towards the smaller trees that are planted, so which means in the future we'll have lots of timber. However, not a lot of food for the big game animals, so it's kind of a catch-22. I don't agree with it at all, but what can you do? Unfortunately, due to business restraints, I had to head home early from my first moose hunting experience with the Wallace Gang. Being my first moose camp experience, I have to tell you that I met some really great guys. We all ate well. The time spent with Tom's family was something I will always cherish and was hopeful to be invited back. Jim did end up getting his tag filled, and the neighboring camp helped him get it out. Looks like they met some good friends as well. Congrats, fellas. As it turns out, Tom Wallace had invited me back up for a second year of moose hunting. This time, I came prepared. I brought a Stoger Condor 410 over-under shotgun, of course loaded with Kent shells, back with me with my new addiction for partridge. One down. There's another one up the road here.
That didn't work out exactly how it was planned, eh?
I think I slowed him down, but I think I shot over his head. Should have went a little closer. Shooting a 410 with a brand new over-under Stoger Condor I picked up earlier this summer. Last year I was out hunting with Tom Wallace, and he had a single shot, but of course I'm the goofball that didn't bring the 410, so I ended up getting myself a new one. Got the first one though. I didn't get skunked. Right in the top of the beak, as we were going to that spruce grouse that I missed, we ended up hearing some noise down here. Of course, just needed to spot some movement. Got some dinner for tonight. Look and smile, Tommy.
That's what you call a good afternoon.
Tom and I were out here scouting right now for some moose. On the aerial map that we have, we found two ponds. One's right behind me, and another one's very, very, very hard to get to. So we flagged this on the way in. We might come and sit with Mark, because he's too far away. So we've been out trying to scout for bears and the odd bird on the road. So we'll get back to touring around, see if we can find some more water holes. With this unseasonable weather, it's very warm, and we don't think the moose are moving that much. So we're going to start putting our focus towards water sources, and this is going to be one of them.
You know, that's not that old. A couple days, I would think.
That's a big moose, man.
It is. Maybe a day? What do you think? Like day, 2 days?
I don't think that bull's very far, buddy.
He's got some good dewies on him. Right through there. See him? He's getting. Sorry, I'll stop. See.
Nice.
First of the day. You can't fly with no head. Well, half a head.
And now, this week's Cut to the Chase segment, brought to you by Rackstack.
While Tom and I are out doing some partridge hunting, we decided to set up a new mineral site for the moose that we're after. There's a heavy crossing right here along this creek. So keeping it close to water and in a known area that there's moose traveling, we know that we're going to get activity. So we've already got some heavyweight moose mineral poured out here. I'm going to add a crown jewel. There's a cellophane wrap on this, so make sure you take your garbage out with you. We're also going to add a moose licks block, which will slow dissolve and last until next year. Now this is a maple flavor. Smells like homemade pancakes. Believe it or not, moose love it too. We're also going to add some banana moose slop. This is relatively new, it's a couple years old, but guys are having great success with this. We're going to pour that on top as well. And we're going to take the 11-kilometer ride out and hopefully get a couple more birds before the end of the night. Now mind you, I didn't make the greatest shot. We couldn't get the camera on time. So I went up into that spruce and she had fallen from the tree and I heard her smacking on the ground. Good times. Welcome back to the Homegrown Hunter TV. Due to unseasonably warm weather and a lot of rain halfway through the week, we decided to hunker down for the rest of the day, play some cards, and just enjoy some downtime. In fact, it turned out to be really good for all of us. We enjoyed our time, lots of laughs, and got more strategy together knowing where the moose were traveling. Birch bark moose call that my daughter and I made a couple days before the hunt.
This week's Tech Tip is brought to you by Hookabones Equipment, Ottawa Valley's Kubota dealer.
You just want to take her nice and easy. And you want to pick a spot that doesn't have any knots in it, so that as it comes off it's super easy and doesn't tear. Just like that. So there you go. So what we're going to do is now we're going to take this and soak it in a 5-gallon bucket full of water. But before doing so, we're going to go collect some roots from a spruce tree so that when we curl this back up, we've got something to sew it with, naturally.
Perfect.
Give her a go. Oh. Oh. After an unsuccessful moose calling attempt and not seeing anything, I decided to head back out and fuel my new addiction of partridge hunting. I want to say that partridge hunting has become my new favorite sport. Let me tell you, I'm having a really great time out here by myself, just cruising and listening to some music in the truck. And I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun cruising these country roads. There's nobody back here to bother you, and you're just taking your time and looking for some good eats. This little over-under that I got this year is just awesome, and I enjoy shooting it. Let's see if we can get another one before the end of the night. Pulled a double. There's another one. There it is. I could see it. I pulled a triple. I pulled a triple. I just shot my limit. As the law states, you always have to find, or at least do your best to find your quarry that you shot. Let me show you what I just found, my second bird I shot. Look where he's hiding. Right in this foxhole with a leaf covering it up. He obviously flipped down in there. I don't think he was actually intendedly trying to get in there, but I'll tell you, see how far he just fell right in there. I'll tell you, these guys are so much fun to hunt. There's two. I've got the other one up on the road. I shot my limit and I am tickled pink. I've never done any partridge hunting at home, and when I came up here last year, I had such a good time with Tom, just having a good time chatting with him, discussing details of business. 3 birds, all in the same spot. I got my limit. Now I'm just gonna go out, sit for my moose tonight. I got about 2 hours left. It's misty, kind of crappy out, but the birds were moving tonight. I'll tell you, I quickly reloaded that condor, and that's what done it for me. Love this gun. That concludes my second year at Moose Camp. We ate extremely well, we had fantastic time together, and we all worked as a team to get things done. But we needed to pack our gear and head home. Until next time.
For past episodes, be sure to check out hghtv.ca. Until next time.